ENC's propensity to overreach is something that has been hated by capitalists for decades, and it's not getting any better. While the nation as a whole hasn't been given completely over to the liberal agenda, a few states have fallen almost entirely to the blue rule, and all the regulations that come with it. These states, including, but not limited to, New York, California, and Illinois, stand as an example of what a nation ruled by Democrats would look like. While there should be a land of no work and all play where everyone is overjoyed to live on welfare and thrive as the government mothers them lovingly. But according to the Daily Caller, that's not exactly what's happening. In fact, new statistics show that these states are suffering from a mass exodus as the residents look for places to live that allow them more freedom and less government. The exodus of residents was most pronounced in New York, which saw about 190,000 people leave the state between July 1, 2016, and July 1, 2017, according to U.S. Census Bureau data released last week. New York's domestic outmigration during the time period was about the same as it was in the same time 2015 and 2016. Since 2010, the state's outflow of just over 1 million residents has exceeded that of every other state, both in absolute terms and as a share of population, according to the free market think tank Empire Center. Despite the massive domestic outmigration flow, New York's net population grew slightly, largely due to high levels of international immigration and a so-called natural increase, the difference between births and deaths in a given year. New York's net migration was about minus 60,000 residents, but the state had 73,000 more births than deaths, resulting in a net population growth of about 13,000. New York is where our First Lady and Trump rival Hillary Clinton hails from and is known to be one of the most liberal states in the Union. Their elites loudly preach about what the rest of the nation should do if we want to prosper like them. However, it seems that the little people who don't make it onto the guest list for the Met Gala, don't feel the same way. Illinois was not so fortunate. Long beset by twin budget and pension crises and the erosion of its tax base, Illinois lost so many residents that it dropped from the 5th to the 6th most populous state in 2017, losing its previous spot to Pennsylvania. Just under 115,000, Illinois residents decamped for other states between July 2016 and July 2017. Since 2010, the land of Lincoln has lost about 650,000 residents to other states on net, equal to the combined population of the state's 4 largest cities other than Chicago, according to the Illinois Policy Institute. Illinois' domestic outmigration problem has become a nightmare for lawmakers, who must find a way to solve the worst pension crisis in the nation as the state's tax base shrinks year after year. Illinois' Democratic-dominated legislature has tried to ameliorate the situation with tax hikes, causing even more people to leave and throwing the state into a demographic spiral. Illinois experiences a net loss of about 33,000 residents in 2016, the 4th consecutive year of population decline. As people leave the state, they take their pocketbooks with them. That means there are fewer Illinoisans to pay the bills, or Fadivangai, chief economist with the Illinois Policy Institute, told the Chicago Tribune. It's worrying because if you have a declining population and a declining labor force, you will for sure have a further slowdown of economic activity going into 2018. One huge worry that Illinois has to contend with is that they've been one of the loudest and proudest states to stand up for sanctuary laws. Whether those policies are part of what's leading to the exodus or not, the fact that the taxpayers are leaving and taking their tax dollars with them means less money to fund all the illegals who are sucking the state dry. California was the 3rd deep blue state to experience significant domestic outmigration between July 2016 and July 2017, and it couldn't blame the outflow on retirees searching for a more agreeable climate. About 138,000 residents left the state during that time period, second only to New York. Going forward, one factor that could worsen domestic outmigration from New York, California and Illinois is the newly enacted tax reform bill, which caps state and local tax, SALT, deductions at $10,000. The limit on SALT deduction is poised to hit taxpayers harder in those states than it will in just about any other. According to the Tax Foundation, New York, Illinois and California had 3 of the 5 highest tax rates expressed as a percentage of per capita income, with residents paying 12.7%, 11%, and 11%, respectively. These facts make one want to ask the DNC what the big problem is. The people of these states put their trust in the Liberal Party and their agenda, giving them every chance to work their magic, but still, the people did not receive the utopia promised in almost every Democrat's campaign speech across the nation. It's time that we as a nation wake up and see these liberal promises for what they are, pretty-sounding language that is completely unsustainable in the real world. If anyone needs more proof that the liberal model doesn't work, they can move to New York or California, since there are a few 100,000 pieces of real estate opening up.